last lecture, lecture number 6, we completed LO3 and 3.1. Today we will be completing 3.2 and the distinction part.
Okay.
It says, analyze how the information and knowledge can be tested and validated in the workplace before use. Here, the first thing is that you have to focus on the command verb, that is analyze. And afterward, the question is about information and knowledge, that is how it can be tested and validated. If you remember in the previous lectures, we have studied validation, reliability, and testing earlier as well. This is, we will be using it that how we are going to use in the corporate sector before the use of the general information and knowledge. Testing and okay. These are the definition first, then we will be discussing the points according to the question. Testing and validating information involves a series of processes aimed at ensuring the accuracy, reliability, and usability of data or knowledge within a business context. Obviously, why we are focusing on testing, validation, reliability of information, because ultimately it is the sub-process of each and everything. If we are going to do these things, only then the information and knowledge is going to be successful. Run through the business cases. Now, these are the points from the indicative content. This involves analyzing the information in the context of specific business scenarios or the cases to determine its applicability, relevance, and potential outcomes. Now, run through the business cases. That is all the problems which are going on in the organizations, whether it's a good problem, whether it's a discussion for starting a project, before starting a project, we are going to run certain information and knowledge analysis. Then usability testing. This involves evaluating the practicality and user-friendliness of the information or the system associated with it. Usability testing typically involves real users interacting with the information to assess its effectiveness and ease of use. Now, usability testing. That is how the project team or the information and knowledge is good for the use of the general public, plus the consumers and the people who are inside the organization, who are leading the project, because each and everything is connected with it. Whether we are going to test something, whether we are going to grab an information from an article or any other project head. Case models. Case models provide structured representations of the business processes or the scenarios. That is, there are certain steps and procedures through which we conduct the project A, B, and C. Before that, we are going to make some sort of document, a roadmap basically, or a rough document through which we will be including that this is going to be the budget, these are going to be the people who will be leading the project, and each and everything, the times, timeline, guidance, everything. By applying the information to the various case models, organizations can assess its consistency and effectiveness in different contexts. That is, whether whatever they have planned in the document, what milestones they wanted to achieve, after a certain period of time, they are going to reconsider that document or a presentation or anything which they have made before, and they will see whether they were successful in achieving it or not. Check with experts. Now, check with experts. Seeking input and validation from the subject matter, experts help ensure the accuracy and relevance of the information. That is, there are in every organization, every field, every department, there is an expert sitting. He is the head of the department. He has the answers to every queries related to his command, his expertise. Why this person is necessary in an organization? Because he's the one who is going to approve or reject the information which we have gathered. Experts can provide insights, identify potential errors or gaps, and validate the information based on their expertise. That is, if there is problem, they will guide you. If your work is excellent, they will appreciate you. Check with the stakeholders. Now, the stakeholders are the people, first of all, who has the surety to say in the organization, whether in the decision making, whether in any aspect related to the organization. These are the board of directors, managers, consumers, and the consumers and suppliers, and the workers. Involving relevant stakeholders in the validation process ensures that the information aligns with their needs, requirements, and expectations. Obviously, and the investors are two stakeholders. They are investing money in your organization. Why? Because they want abnormal profits. They want a quick return on their investment. This is the correct term. So this is very important that we as an organization, as an employee, board of director, we should make them happy. Stakeholders may include consumers, employees, partners, regulators, other individuals, or the groups affected by the information. This is the thing which I discussed before the start of the word stakeholder. Check authorization of information. That is, authority of the information from where you have gathered it. Verifying the authorization or the source of the information is crucial for ensuring its credibility and legality. Credibility is how credible your data is, how authentic your data is, and legality, whether it is in the boundary of the laws and regulations or not. Organizations need to confirm that the information comes from the trusted and authorized sources and has not been tampered with or misrepresented. That is, everything is perfectly going on. Whatsoever information you have gathered for the project or the presentation or documentation, it should be perfect from a perfect data, from the perfect reliable source. Keep records. Maintaining detailed records of the validation process, including the methods used, findings, and outcomes, help ensure transparency, accountability, and traceability. Why we keep record? That is record of each and everything. Even I'm conducting the classes right now. I have a record at my back as well. The management is keeping the record of their things. Like then in the end we match everything. Is everything okay or not? So these are the record keeping. Other than this, we are doing the recording as well. This is another proof.
Yes.
So what it helps in transparency, like if you want to consider the lectures again, everything is going to be clear. If you have any forgotten any point, then accountability. If there was a problem in the class from my side or your side, then we both are accountable and we can check from the internet, from the recordings. Then traceability, we can trace it as well. So everything is what do we call it? In hand. If we keep a record. Then we have records also serve as documentation for the future reference and audit purposes. That is, if you want to refer something in the future, there is a record in the end. Track outcomes of validated information, or what it is. Monitoring and tracking the outcomes or impacts of validated information allows organization to assess its effectiveness, identify any discrepancies or issues that may arise. Monitoring and tracking the outcomes or impacts of validated information allows organization to assess its effectiveness. First of all, when we are going to keep the record, we are going to have a check and balance and do everything what will happen. We can check the validation of the information whether it is correct or not. Ultimately, what will happen? Effectiveness is going to happen. That is, whatever information you have gathered, how effective it is, how useful it is. Identify any discrepancies. What are discrepancies? These are the problems, these are the issues. If there is a problem in your information gathering or knowledge gathering, then you can identify that through the record keeping, through the tracking, because ultimately the other word is you're tracking something. That may arise and make a necessary adjustments or improvements, and accordingly you can adjust if there is a problem, if there is any discrepancy. Confirm information. Before finalizing or acting upon the information, it is essential to verify its accuracy and completeness through various validation methods. Very simple. Before giving you up the lecture, I have a whole degree in my hand. I have a command on my words that whatever explanation I'm giving, it is authentic to you. That is why I'm teaching you at the moment. So this is a confirmed information. And the examples which I quote, they are also authentic. And I don't assume them. Obviously we research it. We research on it when we are studying about a particular topic. Confirmation involves cross-checking the information against multiple sources, conducting additional research or analysis if needed, and ensuring the consensus among the relevant stakeholders. When we are giving the example of an organization of a corporate sector, why information confirmation is necessary? because we cannot talk without any strong ground or the common consensus among the stakeholders. Like we should have a common belief and a norm between between the consumers, investors, stakeholders, shareholders, managers, suppliers, producers. Only then we can come up with a good product and the sales as well. Now, we have defined each and every term with the definition. This is going to be according to question. Testing and validating information and knowledge in the workplace is crucial to ensure accuracy, reliability, and relevance. This is the main purpose why we are conducting the testing and validation, because we want to show that whether the data which we have gathered is accurate, is reliable, or relevant to the project which we are going to conduct. The first one was run through the business cases. Evaluate information by applying it to real or hypothetical business cases to assess its practicality and relevance. That is the businesses in which their structure is same, organizational structure is same. We are going to assess that, evaluate everything accordingly. For example, in a manufacturing company, considering a new production process, running a business case involves stimulating the process in a controlled environment to identify potential challenges and benefits. Obviously, it's a manufacturing company. Maybe clothes are getting manufactured, and according to clothes, we're going to have discriminations between them. Maybe long dresses, formal dresses, informal dresses, babies' dresses, adults' dresses. Each kind of manufacturing could happen in that specific firm. So what happens? We want to stimulate the process. We want to make it smoother. Then we have usability testing. Assess the usability and effectiveness of the information or the system by observing how users interact with them. That is how the interaction of the consumer is with that specific system, with that specific project or the product. For example, before implementing a new software system in an organization, let's say we want to involve CRM system, that is called customer relationship management system. First, we have to conduct usability testing with end users to identify any user experience issues, ensuring the system meets their need. For example, whenever a new company wants to launch a new app, what happens? They try to test it in the market, mostly, or otherwise they test it in certain group. Only then they make that thing into publicly acceptable. Then we have case models. Create models or prototypes to visualize and analyze information in specific context. Prototypes and models, what they are. If I can give you example from the PowerPoint right now, the graphs like, let's go on smart chart. These are the general charts and these are the smart charts. We should talk about these. In this, we can simply select anything. If you want to list out something, if you want to get the process, these are so many prototypes for it, models for it. If I want to choose hierarchy, there are so many prototypes for it, models for it. And the colors, everything you can adjust by your own self, okay? For example, in software development, creating a case model helps in understanding system interactions and requirements, ensuring that the final product aligns with the organizational needs. Like you people are going to submit the assignments, right? I'm going to check it. If there is a problem, I will again send you the resubmission and you're going to do that and I'll check that again. Until and unless we meet the criteria set by the ATHE. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Check with experts. Seek validation from the subject matter experts to ensure the accuracy and reliability of information. This is the further, you can say, explanation for this. We have already discussed further earlier in the slides. Again, check with the experts. This means we're going to ensure the validation from the experts. For example, in a pharmaceutical company, before updating drug dosage information, consult medical experts and pharmacologists to validate the accuracy of the data. Me and you, who has no knowledge of pharmaceutical companies, cosmologists, and anything, how we can grade anything? We cannot. So experts are needed for it. Check with the stakeholders. Validate information by consulting relevant stakeholders who are impacted by or have expertise in the subject matter. That is, they're going to be the hero of their department, literally the hero of the subject. He is going to have the whole knowledge of that specific, uh, like pertaining task, project, or department. For example, before implementing a new marketing strategy, that is, marketing strategy could be in an organization, in an advertising company, gather feedback from the sales team. That is, first we should know that what is the main situation inside the organization. That is sales team, consumers, marketing specialist, to ensure the strategy aligns with market needs. That is obviously when we are going to gather the feedback from them, only then we can make new strategy in this specific field. Check authorization of information. Verify that the information has been authorized by the appropriate individuals or departments before use. For example, the information has to be used by the human resource department, but it is approved by the research and development department. This means it's a big failure. Whatever the information is going to be routed from, the approval should be from the specific department too. For example, in a financial reporting, that is balance sheet, income statement, ensure that the financial statements are authorized by the finance department and reviewed by auditors to validate their accuracy and compliance, because this is related to the financial department. So everything is going to be checked, approved by the specific department. Then we have keep records. Maintain detailed records of information sources, changes, and validation processes. For example, in a research project, that is in which we are gathering the primary or maybe the secondary data, keep a comprehensive record of the data sources, methodologies, and validation steps to ensure transparency and traceability. I don't know whether you have done the research work before or thesis work before, but in the thesis or the research work, first we always gather the introduction, then the abstract, then we go for the table of contents, methodologies, literature review, findings, and hypothetical testing as well. So that's a simple example for keeping a record. Track outcomes of validated information. Monitor and evaluate the outcomes or results associated with the evaluated information to ensure its effectiveness. That is, whatsoever result we have gathered from the project execution, we should, what do we call that, double check through the documentation which we have made earlier. For example, after implementation of a new employee training program, track employee performance metrics to validate the effectiveness of the training materials. That is, we are giving them the free workshops. Why? Because we want to increase their effectiveness, their motivation, their speed level. Because ultimately it will help the organization. And how we are gonna check that? Through the performance metric. If you remember, we did discuss about the KPI, key performance indicator. They are specifically used for the employees. Through that, we check whether they are working perfectly or not. Confirm information. Cross-verify information from the multiple reliable sources to confirm its accuracy. You're not going to depend on one source, one document, one person. We can conduct the research and its authentication from various sources. For example, before disseminating the industry statistics in a report, that is, it is related to the SPSS, cross-reference data from the reputable sources such as government publication, industry reports, and academic studies. These are certain kinds of sources through which we check our results, our information. First one is the government publication. Government is always ahead in each and every field. They are doing the statistics, the what do we call that, consensus on a yearly basis. Then industry reports. Other than the market report, we have the industry report. The industry is the bigger version of the market. And academic studies, that is the researchers who have already done the research on specific topics. Testing and validating information in the workplace involve a combination of methods to ensure the reliability and accuracy of the data and knowledge. This is the very reason why we're conducting the testing and validation, because it helps in the reliability of the data. Testing and validation, why it is necessary? Because obviously we want to check the reliability and accuracy of the data. This is the reason we perform testing and validation. So the question and answer is in just 2 lines. Now, business cases, usability testing, case models, expert consultation, stakeholder feedback, authorization checks, these are the points which we had discussed just right now. So on, they all contribute to a robust validation process. So these all points which we discussed right now, 9 points, I think, they are all helpful in validating a process of what? Of the information. These practices help organizations make well-informed decisions based on accurate and reliable information, mitigating the risk associated with misinformation or inaccuracies. Again, the same thing. Why we are doing the testing and validation? Because it eliminates the risk. That is, it is mitigating the risk from the sources. Maybe the information is wrong, for example, then what will happen? We are going to run these 9 processes points. And then we will see whether the information was authentic or not. In a multinational manufacturing company, the procurement department aimed to streamline its supply chain processes by adopting a new vendor management system. So it's first a multinational company, then it's a manufacturing company. Then the department, the one who is gonna check in, like, what do we call that? Procure the each and everything, maybe whether the employees, whether the budgets, each and everything. We are talking about that department. It streamlines its supply chain processes by adapting a new vendor management system. That is, they have hired a new supplier. That is a new vendor. Before implementing the system, the team ran through comprehensive business cases to evaluate the potential impact on procurement efficiency and cost savings. Usability testing was conducted by involving procurement professionals from different departments, ensuring the system's users' friendliness and effectiveness. Case models were developed to visualize how the new system would integrate with existing processes. We already know the hidden meaning of these terms, whether it's case model, usability testing, or what we discussed. Yeah, these two right now. Now, how this is going to be inculcated in a scenario, we are discussing that. Seeking validation from the subject matter experts in supply chain management and consulting with the key stakeholders, including procurement specialists and IT professionals, ensured that their chosen system aligned with both industry best practices and internal organizational needs as well. Authorization checks were meticulously conducted to confirm that the information regarding vendor integration and system compatibility was approved by the IT security team. Throughout the process, detailed records were kept, documenting the feedback from usability tests, expert opinions, and stakeholder input. Once the new system was implemented, the team tracked key performance indicator KPI. We just read about employee performance metrics. So they use the KPIs such as order processing time. These are the kinds of KPIs and cost savings to confirm the positive outcomes of the validated information. This comprehensive approach to testing and validating information ensured a successful integration of the vendor management system, contributing to enhanced operational efficiency and procurement effectiveness in the organization. So the assessment criteria 3.2, when we want to apply that in a real life, in any of the organization, whether it's a small, multi, or a medium size, this is how we do it. Evaluate the advantages and limitations of a range of methods for testing and validating information and knowledge in the workplace. Within the question, they have told us we have to talk about the advantages and limitations for the methods for testing and validation. Now, first, we discussed that how we can test the validation and the accuracy of the data. Now, there are certain methods. Obviously, now we will be discussing that. First, we will discuss the definitions according to the indicative content. Then we will be doing the question according to the like assessment criteria. Those techniques and the methods available to test the currency, validity, and reliability of the information and knowledge. The first point is simple probability. Simple probability is a measure of the likelihood of a particular event occurring expressed as a ratio of the number of favorable outcomes to the total number of possible outcomes. That is, if I could give you the best example of the probability, I'm sure in your life you have played the Ludo game, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That is what probability. You don't have a chance, but you give a chance to your dice that maybe it will be 6, maybe it will be 5, 3, or 1. That is what probability is. Chances. Normal distribution curve. The normal distribution curve, which is also known as the Gaussian distribution or bell curve, these are two names of the NDC. This is a symmetrical probability distribution. Symmetrical means aligned, that is in a straight line, that describes the distribution of a continuous random variable. It is characterized by its mean and standard deviation. We have to only talk about strengths and weaknesses, right? Evaluate the advantages and limitations of the various methods for testing and validating information and knowledge in the workplace, including simple probability, normal distribution curves, straight line, control charts, and trend analysis. Now, these are from the indicative content. Simple probability. What's the advantages to the question? Simple probability is easy to calculate and interpret. It provides a basic understanding of the likelihood events. For example, in a project management, now we have to think each and everything according to organization. Simple probability can be used to estimate the probability of completing a project milestones on time based on historical performance. For example, we are doing project D at the moment, and similarly, we have done project D in past years, that is maybe in 2023 or 2021. So what was the time period then? Whether we were able to finish that in 6 months or not. And now, whether we will be going to complete the project D within the 6 months period or not. That is what probability is. Then the limitations, like what is the disadvantage? It assumes equal likelihood for all outcomes, which may not always reflect the complexity of the real world scenarios because we are on the chance. We don't know whether we will complete the project within the 6 month or maybe the time is going to exceed. So it is a problem. Obviously, it's a big problem. We cannot rely on the previous project timeline. Maybe this project is going to be a bit different. Maybe it's going to be more challenging. Normal distribution curve. The normal distribution is applicable to many natural phenomena, making it useful for analyzing and validating the data. For example, in quality control is in the organization through which the quality check is going on. An NDC curve can help identify the deviations from the expected product specifications. For example, if you know that in the quality control, there are certain check and balance, the products which don't lie under the, what do we call that, criteria set by the producers and the management that how the project quality is going to be, they just reject the project. That is what NDC is in context of business. Is this clear?
No, ma'am. Can you repeat again?
Okay. There are certain standards of the product, like if it is good or not. If the product is up to the mark, it is according to the standard set of the organization, then you accept it and you produce the batches of it. 100 batches, 200 batches of it. And the one which doesn't lie under that specific batch, you just eliminate that project, you discard that because that is not perfect. The quality is poor, maybe the packaging is poor. There are so many reasons. Is this clear now?
Yes, ma'am. No.
Okay. And the limitation is, it may not accurately represent data in the situations where there are significant outliers or non-normal distributions. That is, maybe there is no need to check the specific quality of a product. It is set by the specific, what do we call that, a company. For example, bread. No need to check the quality of the bread again and again. There is no need, absolutely. Once you have added the ingredients into the bowl, then it is going to be made. It won't be disrupted because it's a perfect recipe. So that's a limitation of an NDC because quality control itself is quite challenging. Straight line. Straight lines are easy to understand and apply. They are suitable for representing the linear relationship. What is a linear relationship? That is the direct relationship of an X component with a Y component. For example, in a financial forecasting, that is, we will be forecasting in it, a straight line trend might be used to predict future sales based on historical data. We are producing, for example, 1,000 batches of bread in 2024 in 1 month. And in last year, 2023, in March, we were able to only produce 500 beds. So sales are going to be different, right? The forecast says that we are going to gain more profit. We are going to, same time, we are going to spend more. That is the cost. Plus, we are going to gain the profit as well. That is what the perfect example of a straight line is. And the limitation is it may oversimplify complex relationships, leading to inaccurate predictions when underlying patterns are not linear. Sometimes what happens is we take the thing for granted in the businesses as well, even the daily lives as well. But in reality, they are quite complicated. We are lying to us. Like we are lying from our own self that we will be able to do it, we will resolve it. But in reality, we don't. The problems are quite problematic. Control charts. Control charts are effective for monitoring and validating the processes over time, identifying the variations in trends. That is trends. When we want to verify the trends, this means what was the result into 2020, 2021, and so on. That is the comparison of the years. For example, in a manufacturing company, a control chart can be used to track the consistency of the product dimensions during the production. That is, whether we were able to increase the size of the product or not. That is, from 15 ml to 30 ml to 50 ml to 100 ml. That's an example. Obviously, with the passage of time, we are going to increase the product packaging, the product size as well, if it's a hit. However, control charts may not be suitable for the processes with frequent changes or those that exhibit non-random patterns. For example, you are not relying your product for more than a year. You're changing its making ingredients again and again, then we cannot do the trend analysis on it. That is, the control charts on it. We cannot do the trend assumption on it because the element, the ingredients, they are not same. Then why to do it? Then we have trend analysis. Trend analysis helps identify the patterns over time, providing insights into potential future developments. For example, in a marketing company, analyzing sales trends can inform decision making on product launches and marketing strategies. That is, beforehand, you are going to spend a lot of money on certain project or a product. You can see your competitors, rivals, and your past history. You're analyzing it. You have conducted the research, now you're assessing it, you're analyzing it, you're absorbing it. However, trend analysis relies on historical data, that is the past data, and assumes that past trends will continue. This is not true. Maybe in 2023 there was less economic downturn, but now in 2024, the inflation is already quite high. So we cannot compare it. We have to learn it. We have to increase the budget as well, which may not always hold true in dynamic environments. That is the one in which we're changing very frequently. Each method for testing and validating information and knowledge in the workplace has its own strengths and weaknesses. Now, at the start of the definition, after the distinction slide 3D1, I've added a lot of methods. But these are the 5 methods or 4 methods which are in your indicative content. Every method is different from one another and they have their own strengths and weaknesses. The first is the choice of method depends on the nature of the data, the context of its application, and the goals of the validation process. That is very obvious thing. It depends on the type of data, research, or information which you want to gather. Only then we can apply a certain kind of methods on it. I cannot apply all kind of methods on one project. That is going to be quite a big failure. Like simple probability is straightforward, but may oversimplify complex scenarios. The normal distribution curve is robust, but may not handle the outliers well. Why simple probability is simple? Because it is a chance, but it is quite difficult as well. Why? Because we cannot make the projects or the things or the decisions every time on the probability basis, that is on the chances. Maybe in the last year we were quite successful, there is a chance we might fail. Straight lines are easy to understand, but may not capture the non-linear relationship. That is, the one which are not contradicting with each other, the one which are not smoother with each other. They are opposite personality of an opposite kind. Control charts are effective for monitoring the processes, but may not adapt well to the frequent changes. Obviously, here we are going to, in the control charts, we do the kind of a trend analysis. We analyze the past data with the historical data, with the present data, both past and present is used in the control charts. So if we are changing the ingredients of the product, the type of a product, maybe the packaging too, the flavors as well, then it's not going to be easy to assess the information. Trend analysis provides insights into patterns but relies heavily on the historical data. Yes, it's a good option, but your historical data, your past history must be very strong. Only then we can apply the trend analysis method. Comprehensive approach. Considering the strengths and weaknesses of each method can enhance the reliability and accuracy of the information and knowledge validation in the workplace. We are done with the distinction task. Now, this is an example. Let's read it. A real-life scenario that illustrates the use of multiple methods for testing and validating information in the workplace, specifically in the context of a manufacturing company focused on maintaining the product quality. So the whole scenario is about what? It is about the testation and the validation, but it's a manufacturing company and we have to focus specifically on the quality control, quality check. The first one is quality assurance in a manufacturing plant. In a manufacturing plant, producing precision components for the aerospace industry, ensuring product quality is paramount. That is, it should be huge. The quality assurance team employs various methods for testing and validating information to guarantee the precision and reliability of the manufactured components. Simple probability. Now, probability is applied to estimate the likelihood of a particular defect occurring during the manufacturing process of the airplanes, of the helipads, of the helicopters. Strength. It provides a quick assessment of the potential risk. Secondly, the weaknesses, however, it assumes uniform likelihood, which might not count for the variations in the production condition. This is for the simple probability. If we discuss it from the context of normal distribution curve, the dimensions of the components are measured and the data is plotted on a normal distribution curve. Strength identifies the deviations from the expected measurements, that is, whatever we have decided earlier, whether we have achieved it or not. However, may not capture the outliers caused by the occasional processes variations, that is, changes, frequent changes. Trend line or trend analysis, both. Over time, the team plots the trend of defects per batch to identify any systematic improvements or deteriorations. I was explaining you something, I think. This is what I wanted to say, the defects in the batches. Trend. Simplicity and ease of interpretation. That is, everything is going to be smooth because in the straight line and trend, we are assuming the historical data. However, assumes a linear relationship, which might not be the case in all scenarios. Then control charts. Control charts are employed to monitor the dimensions of critical features during the production. Maybe the wings should be perfect, the fan, the helicopter, each and every component of it. Strength detects variations and trends, helping in maintaining process stability. However, may not be as effective in capturing sudden and unexpected changes. That is true. Because if you remember in the control chart, we are heavily relying on the historical data as well, the past data. So if there is any uncertain situation happening, then it's going to be all around unexpected data. Things are going to be quite different then. Trend analysis. The team analyzes trends in consumer feedback over time to identify the areas where continuous improvement. That is, we are asking the feedback, we are asking the answers from them. The strength provides insights into long-term patterns and areas for the intervention. However, relies heavily on historical data. Past trends might not always predict future developments. That is true. We cannot rely totally on the past. Why? Because in the future things are quite different. So in this scenario, the combination of these methods allowed the quality assurance team to comprehensively assess the manufacturing process. Simple probability offers quick risk assessments. The normal distribution curve identifies variations. Straight line trend analysis provides insights into linear patterns. Control charts monitor the process stability, and the trend analysis informs long-term strategies for the improvement. So this is how we apply it to the example, to a scenario. The whole points and methods of testing and validation. By employing a diverse range of testing and validation methods, the manufacturing plant ensures the accuracy and the reliability of the information related to product quality, contributing to the overall success of the organization in delivering high precision components of the aerospace industry. Now, this is the glossary from assessment criteria 3.1 till 3D. If you find any difficulty in the terms, I have added definition, like what info means and examples too. Knowledge, current information, valid. Like this is for you and you can like take help from it. Yeah. These are the references.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any question?
Yes, ma'am. I do have a question. I think trend analysis, something like that. Trend analysis.
Yeah. Trend analysis. What we read in it, trend analysis helps identify patterns over time. Over time means from year to year, the patterns is going to be different. For example, if I give you a good example of your weight, of your body weight, maybe in 2020, your weight is going to be different. Maybe till date, 2024, your weight is stable. It depends, right? That is what the patterns over time is. Then providing insights into the potential future developments. If you want to shed the weight, what your goals are going to be. If you want to increase the weight or maintain the weight, what your goals are going to be. That is what the insights into potential future development is. However, trend analysis relies on historical data and assumes that the past trends will continue, which may not always hold true in dynamic environments. That is the changing environment. Right now, you are in Jeddah. Maybe in future, you are again shifted to Bangladesh. Maybe. That's just an example. So your habits are going to be different then. Your goals
Obviously.
are different. That is what trend analysis is. We cannot stick to one thing. Maybe today we are here, in next year, we don't know where we are going to be. That's what analysis is.
I like moving from one place to another.
Yes. Hopping
With
off.
the environment. Yeah.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Now clear.